Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy Max here, madazmoney.com, and in this video, I'm going to show you guys how I had my second best week of all time, making $1.5 million in just 1 week. That's right, $1.5 million in just 1 week, only trailing my GME week where I made more. But $1.5 million in just 1 week, including $1.2 million off of just one stock. That's Tlry. We're going to show you guys the live trading footage from Friday where I nailed the dead cat bounce from sub 30 and made over $550,000 in just 2 hours. You're not going to want to miss that epic trade. One of my best trades of all time. Actually, top 3 after the Madaz Money intro. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so before we jump into the live trading footage, I'm going to go over my current account really quick, some stats real quick. I'm not going to take too long on it. If you guys want to check it out, follow me on Twitter. I posted all the information there. You can look at them yourself in your own time. But real quick, currently now up $4.12 million on a year, guys. This is just what, the 6th week. We just finished our 6th week, the 2nd week of February. So 4 weeks in January, 2 weeks in February. So in 6 weeks, I'm already up $4.12 million. Just to put things into perspective, last year, it took me 7 months to make the $4 million, right? Starting from $50,000. Again, the account started from $50,000 on May the 25th or 26th or whatever it was. And in 7 months, I made $4 million on that account. And now in just 6 weeks, I'm up $4.12 million. Obviously, I started with more money this time around, but it just shows you the power of scalability, right? Once you get your account up to a certain level, it starts getting really, really crazy. You start skipping millions and millions of dollars. So now that goal of making 8 figures on a year looks very, 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 very realistic, right? All I gotta do is make $6 million over the course of the next 10 months or so, 10 and a half months. I think I can absolutely do it. So currently, again, this account that started on May the 26th, $8.44 million, guys. Really took off starting this year. Chart's starting to go a little parabolic. The equity curve going parabolic there. $8.44 million. About to hit $10 million off of this $50,000 account. Pretty sick. Again, on the week, one of my best weeks of all time. Started with a red day, $92,000, but then just kept trucking along. You know, $262,000, $561,000, $232,000, $533,000 on Friday, which is what I'm going to show you the live trading footage, making $550,000 on TLRY mainly in just 2 hours. And again, $1.5 million. So these are the quick stats on the week. Again, check them out in your free time. Follow me on Twitter if you guys haven't done so already. A lot of fake accounts have been showing up, so don't follow the fake account. This is the real account right there, guys. That's my Twitter handle. MADAZNFOOTBALLR. 48,000 followers. So yeah, follow me on Twitter, and then you guys can look at all this stuff yourself. One last quick shout out. Our last class, Shy's trading course, which actually starts tomorrow. Check that out. It's your last chance to sign up. Trading Institute, institute.madazmoney.com. Last chance to sign up for that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the trade that I'm going to be discussing in this video, the live trading footage. As always, this is TLRY. Again, TLRY, this is a stock that ran up to $77. And started tanking, man. It started tanking pretty hard. I had a difficult time trying to bounce the stock this day. And it had no bounce, really. Only one minor bounce here from 40 to 45, but 77 down to a low of $28. So this stock basically faded around 75% off the highs. A brutal drop without any sort of bounce yet. I was basically looking for a dead cat on this one. It was due for a bounce. This stock was just dumping. Probably insiders were selling, I'm guessing, but there wasn't any bad news or anything like that. If you want to look for a bounce on a stock, you want to look for a stock that's dumping without any big bounce yet, and a stock that's not dumping because of bad news, you know, fraud, investigation, or anything like that, okay? Any sort of big drop without any reply from the stock, it's going to be due for a bounce at some point, and that's exactly what I was looking for on TLRY on Friday, February the 12th. December 21st. Now, in this live trading footage, unfortunately, I did not record the beginning. I didn't have the recorder I thought was on. It didn't record, so we're going to have to pick it up after I already got into the trade. I'm holding 117,588 shares at an average of 29.44. Why did I load so many shares? It's because I had a lot of conviction. Let's go ahead and look at the... I'm going to pull up a daily chart for you guys real quick. Right here. And then you guys can see why I was so convinced that this thing was going to bounce off of this level, okay? So we're going to look at TLRY here real quick, okay? TLRY daily chart. Again, this thing dropped from 77, if you include the pre-market highs right there, all the way down to 28, okay? So if you look at this right here, there's actually a gap fill here at 30, and a lot of support here from 26 down to 24. So you got layers and layers of support. So 24, 26, and $30. So usually on these big drops where there's no reply, you want to try to find out an obvious spot where the stock's not going to bounce. So we had this big red candle here that just blew through all these possible bounce spots, 47, 45, and then $40 also as well, where it attempted a bounce from the previous day on Thursday. It blew through that. Where will we find another bounce spot? 34? Nope, blew through that as well. And then the next possible spot was $30, which is the gap fill. So at 28, you're looking at possibly a fake 30 breakdown, and that's what I was looking for. You know, maybe it drops below 30, stops out some people, stops out some longs, and then bounces back up. So that's a possible spot. I was willing to add down 26, 24 as well. So these are the spots I was looking for a bounce on Tlry, TLRY. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my execution charts because I can't show you the entries live because I didn't get it on tape. So this is my execution chart. I did post this also on Twitter, so you can go on Twitter and look at it in your own time. But this is the execution chart right here. I'm going to blow up a little bit. You can kind of see where I decided to add a couple of bottom tick ads right there around the 28 area, a couple ads here in the 29s, and that led to my average here at 29.44. These are also my exits. I'm going to show you guys exactly why I decided to exit, and this is where it gets really important. Basically what we saw on the tape, and this is why tape reading is way more important, I feel like, than charting, is because tape reading allows you to see the agenda as it's being pushed live, whereas chart, you know, they can totally just fake that. They can also spoof the level 2, but still, if they're going to put up a hidden offer, if you can spot the hidden offer, you can spot the agenda. We spotted a hidden offer there at 35 that wouldn't let the stock go. The stock should have bounced to 40, 45, 47 if that hidden seller would actually just move out of the way, but he would just not move. And as a result, I end up selling here some of these perfect sells at the top. And that was the right decision because the stock dropped all the way back down to $28. So I would have given back all of this profit if I did not sell all of my position here in the 34, 34.5, 35 area. So we're going to show you guys all of that, why I did that on tape. And let's get right to it. All right, again, we're going to pick up right here, 9:39 on the clock. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video. You can see right there, it's 2 hours long. So again, we're going to play at a 4x speed, which is why I didn't want to dwell on too much time on the stats and all that. To look at it in your own time. But 117,588 shares, TLRY. We're going to show you guys what exactly I saw. Now, I know some people are going to complain about the size of the chart. Again, focus on this guy. This is the level 2. This is where I mainly base my decision. You guys see my cursor right here, right? I'm going to make this loud and clear. For all you guys going to leave that same freaking comment I see in every video, man, your charts are too small, man. Your charts are too small, man. Well, first of all, get a bigger screen, man. If you can't afford a bigger screen with a higher resolution, you can't afford a trade. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but that's true. Okay? So focus on the level 2, guys. This is what I'm looking at 90% of the time. You see this? Okay, we're going to try to spot that hidden seller on 35 that would not let the stock go. And this is where I'm going to show you why I decided to start selling in that area, right? 34, 34.5, 35. Now this chart, why is it small? Is because I was expecting a big range bounce. So I wanted to see all these levels, right? You see me draw these levels, 36, 40, 45, 47. These are the levels where I was expecting the stock to bounce to if it weren't for the hidden seller. 35, of course, give or take this pre-market high area. Not surprised why it came up as a level of resistance. It's also a nice 5-point increment. So let's go ahead and hop right to it, all right? So we're going to watch this thing in 4x speed. Again, keep it on in the level 2. Again, I'm in pretty big size, high conviction on this trade. I'm already up 6 figures on it. And you see that? It's really nice to be up 6 figures instantly on a trade like that, I must say. But let's watch here. 31s. Look at that. Already up, you know, a Lamborghini Huracan. Unbelievable. And for some of you Spanish speakers out there, it's huracan. But beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. TLRY, paying the bills, paying the bills. Again, this at this point in the week, I'm already up. You know, I already had a $500,000 day thanks to TLRY, $560,000 day to be in fact. Actually, that was the second best day I've had of all time trading my trading career, and this particular day was my third best day of all time in my trading career. Of course, both following that $1 million day, that epic $1 million day on GME, GameStop. So TLRY here, look, I'm already up $340,000. Yeah, that's so disgusting. It's disgusting, man. Absolutely disgusting. But the stock basically is bouncing off that area I was talking about there, that 30 gap fill, a little bit of a fake out. So this is what we're looking at, right? This is what we're dealing with. So I was never really feeling uncomfortable with this trade, and I was always up on it. You know, I was always up on this trade. It's really nice to get the bottom. It allows you to manage the trade better. It allows you to really, really get those emotions completely shut out because you're already up on the trade with a nice cushion. Can't really complain. Now the stock will dip here a little bit. It's not going to go straight up. If you guys recall the day that GME had its dead cat bounce when it went from 50 straight up to 90, that was pretty epic. I was hoping for something like that in this case on TLRY, but this stock, of course, is a little bit thicker, trades a little bit thicker, and then that hidden seller again at 35, which you guys will see eventually here. He did not let this thing off the hook. So yeah, but that day on GME, if you guys were paying attention that day, or you guys traded that day, that was pretty epic, man. That day where it just went from 50 straight up to 90, like in a really short amount of time. I totally piked out in that trade. All right, so I did sell some there in that 33. So I'm up $44,000, just taking some there as we're approaching that first level of resistance between 34 and 35. Also 36, you see right there is a lower resistance. 40 right there as well. There's a little soft resistance there at 42. And then 45 was where the stock bounced to the previous day right there. You can see right there. And then the 47. So, you know, 45, 47, honestly, is my realistic target. And obviously, if it hit that point, I'd be up pretty darn good. It'll be actually my best trade of all time if it did. So I had high hopes that this thing would give me that opportunity to make my best trade of all time. But, you know, once that hidden seller showed up, man, I had to adjust my plan on the fly. That's just the way trading works. You know, sometimes you kind of envision your trade going a certain way and then something changes, right? There's always something that you may not account for. There's always that element of luck, unfortunately, that we can never completely account for. And something unexpected might happen. And in this particular case, the thing that I had to account for was the hidden seller that's going to pop up at $35. So at that point, I was pretty much at the mercy of whether or not that guy wanted to move. Now, it's dipping right now. You see the stock's dipping down to 31. This is a chance to add. However, because I kind of noticed that the tape is a little bit heavy, you can see how it's a little bit sluggish. Instead of GME, you know, where it shot it from $50 to $90, this thing just went from 28 and it's kind of just chugging along, you know, 30, 31, 32, 33. Instead of going straight, you know, like a beeline to $40, I would have had more conviction to add. I just wanted more velocity, more momentum to add. But normally I would have added on this. I just did not want to ruin my average in this case. And again, you know, I didn't want to put myself in this situation where I'd be in a more uncomfortable spot with a, you know, a worse average on a stock that, like I said, it's a little bit more sluggish, not clean. I'm still up on the trade right here. Pretty darn good. Not going to complain. But yeah, you could have added there in theory. Maybe if the stock was moving a little bit more violently, more volatile, probably would have taken that ad, but still happy with the trade. Again, I'm still up now, $300,000 of stocks now. Having trouble with that 33 area. 33.53 is the current high of day. So right now I'm looking for it to break that high of day to give me a little bit more confidence, or else I might take some more off the table. But we'll keep an eye on this. Watch the bids here to see if they start supporting 33s. Push the stock through that high of day. And then we can go to the next level, which is 34. And then the next level, which is 35. Okay. I'm still holding 105,000 shares. Again, I've locked in $44,000. Now I'm up $400,000 on this trade, guy. That's pretty ridiculous in just less than 30 minutes. Look at that. So now the stock just made a new high of day. Not yet convincingly, but I want to see this go to 34. You see this thing? See the tape still acting really sluggish. Again, indicating that there's probably selling into this move. But however, like I said, you know, the stock is chucking along, man. It's trucking along. You know, it's doing slow and steady, kind of wins the race kind of thing here. Sold some more there. You can see now I'm up $129,000 on the day just because, again, it's a little bit too sluggish. 85,000 shares left, still a sizable position. Sold some more there into 34. Again, just taking off some into the resistances. So now I have about, you know, a little bit more than half of the position left. Locked in $220,000 right in 30 minutes in the day, 10 o'clock, 30 minutes in the market. Now the stock's looking a little bit better, right? Now we're breaking above 34. Looking good, looking good, looking good. New high of day. Now I'm up a combined realized and unrealized about $500,000, guys. $500,000. There's your 35. You see that right there? 35. It goes up to 35. You see right there? It's struggling, 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 struggling. 35.08 new highs. This is where we first meet that hidden seller, Mr. 35. Let's give him a name. We'll call him Mr. 35, all right? So Mr. 35 right here is the party pooper. He's the narc. He's the guy that's going to go in and tell you to shut off the music and go home for the night, okay? This is the guy that's just there to just take a huge fat deuce on your parade, okay? So we're gonna keep an eye on him, okay? We're gonna keep an eye on Mr. 35 here. I did sell some just to lock in some more. 59,000 shares left, about half the position, okay? Locked in already, $250,000 in the bank. Now I'm still up another about, you know, $280,000, $300,000. Pretty sick. But we're gonna keep an eye on Mr. 35, Mr. 35, and also his cronies here, his buddies here. You see Mr. 35? You see that? Stock tap 35, couldn't get over it. Look at this. Look at Mr. 35 right there. Mr. 35 telling us to go home. Mr. 35 doesn't want us to party. Sold some more there. 39,000 shares left. Now I'm up $360,000. I already got enough to buy, you know, a Lamborghini, but you know, I want the full options, man. I want the full carbon fiber body kit. You know, I want the carbon fiber spoiler and all that jazz, right, man? I don't want the base model. I'm not here for the base model. I didn't become a trader to buy a base model Lamborghini, guys. All right, so you see how Mr. 35 there, you know, is kind of scaring off some buyers, right? Now the stock's back down to the 33s. Again, I did sell a good portion of my position there, just because, you know, when you're a long biased trader and you're in a position like this, you don't want to see hidden sellers, okay? Hidden sellers tells you what? Hidden sellers tells you that there's somebody, probably somebody from the inside, probably somebody institutional, probably a hedge fund, that they want to liquidate a large position, and you do not want to go against the order flow, okay? If the order flow is saying, hey, there's an institution that wants to sell a boatload of shares, he's parking his order at 35 and he's preventing people from pushing the stock past 35. Clearly there's buyers. There's Mr. 35 again. Look how many shares are there on 35. You see that? Look how many prints are going through 35 and it's just not able to budge. So clearly there's demand, right? The stock still tanked 75% off the highs. So there's got to be some shorts that need to cover. There's got to be probably some people are looking to load in for the balance like myself. But it's not enough to offset that hidden seller at 35. So you gotta stay objective, right? And as much as I want this stock to go to $40, $45, $47 so I can make the $1 million, you gotta be objective. Again, you gotta, as a trader, you need to be able to assess the situation, remain objective, and then adjust your strategy or your plan on the fly if you have to. So now the stock, again, there's enough buyers, there's enough demand to keep this thing over 33, 34. So at this point, you clearly have a stop, you know, a trailing stop, if you will, at $33, let's just say, okay? If the stock drops below $33, it's probably going to go back down, okay? As you saw on that chart that I showed you with my executions, once the stock cracked below 33, it started its descent back down to 28 where it came from. So now it's clear to find stop at 33 because there's enough demands, enough buyers above 33 to keep this stock up. We'll keep an eye on this right here. Watch the bids here around 33. You know, there's enough people to prop this stock over 33. But however, that 35 seller is just too much to push through, unfortunately. So we'll keep an eye on this. This thing's basically just going to pinball. So it's not the most exciting of trades in terms of price action. You know, it's stuck in like basically a 2-point range. But still, you know, this is, again, my top 3 best trades of all time. And I think it's really important. Watch 33. You see the 33 proper? Now it's basically the other way. So watch. See? It dropped below 33 for a little bit. Watch. It's going to reclaim. 32s. It's not really pushing down with much velocity, but it's back over 33 really easily, right? So it's the same thing that's happening at 35 where it can't get over 33. It can't get below 33 for the same reason. So there's buyers here in the high 32s, low 33s. They keep refreshing this 33 bidder. Again, this is why tape reading so important. So important. This is the reason why I do so well, guys. You guys keep asking me, why do I do so well? Why do I win so much? It's because I know how to read the tape, the level 2, guys. I know how to read the level 2. Can't stress that enough. So those guys complaining about the size of the chart and why it's so small, why you can't see jack, that's because I don't care about the chart, guys. I'm looking at this the entire time. I'm glancing over the chart maybe once every minute tops for 1 second. Okay? All I need the chart for is to know where I'm at on the chart. That's it. It's like you're driving on the street. You're not staring at Google Maps or whatever the entire time, right? You're only looking at it once in a while just to know where you're going. Okay, turn left here. Okay, good. That's all you need to know. And then your eyes are back on the road. So this is the same thing. The level 2 is like the equivalent of me having my eyes on the road, and the chart is basically just me glancing at Google Maps once every so often. Okay, that's all it really is. So you see right there, 33s. 33's held. It's back to 34. Again, this is not the most exciting price action, but I'm pretty invested, quite literally and figuratively. But look at TLRY. It's just struggling to get past that 35. There's going to be some sellers that pop up at 30. You see, there's a big seller at 33.4, 90,000 shares. So there's more sellers now that are joining Mr. 35, if you will, and keeping the stock from breaking 35. So there's a big seller there. Now he's down to 60,000 shares. Looks like he got hacked out a little bit. I'm still holding 28,000 shares. Did sell some more into this 34. Now I'm up $400,000 though, guys. $400,000 and that's ridiculous. Less than an hour to be up $415,000. That's trading for you. I can't really say how ridiculous that sounds. I mean, name me something else where you can make that much money. I don't even think I could have made that much money as a professional athlete. Look at that. Now I'm down to 20,000 shares. I'm up $452,000. At this point, I'm starting to realize that 34, 35 area has just too many freaking sellers. They're not moving, which sucks because, again, I had high hopes for this thing to go to $40. But I'm still holding on to 20,000 shares, which is about a little bit less than about a fifth or sixth of my position, my original position. Just in case it goes to $40, I'll still make some pretty good coin. I'm still up an unrealized $80-something thousand. $452,000 on a day at just the 1 hour mark. We'll keep an eye on this 32 bid. So basically right now, pretty simple, right? If it goes below 33, probably got to start cutting it because it's probably going to start bleeding out. A clean break of 33, probably send it back down. Clean break over 35, will probably send it back toward 36, 40, 45, and so on. So it's very simple. It's a very simple trade, guys. Very simple concept. Dead cat bounce off of a stock that's been beaten down 75% off the highs, that hasn't had a chance to give any sort of high conviction bounce yet. And now it's finally filled that gap at $30, and now it's bouncing, right? It's given us at least a sort of a decent move, right? From 28 to 34, that's still a decent move, all things considered. And it was a very high percentage move. I had conviction to go in with size. What were the chances, right? If I went in at 29, what were the odds, right? It could have dropped to, 26, 24. I would have probably stopped out a little bit, recycled shares, re-added back, and probably would have gotten the bounce maybe at 26, 24. So there was a good chance that I was probably going to bounce. The stock obviously wasn't going to go straight to zero without any sort of a bounce first. But right now, it's looking pretty good in terms of, the fact that I've locked in the majority of the position just because I don't really see that seller in the 34s and 35s moving. But I still got a nice unrealized cushion there as well. So we'll keep an eye on it. Even if I have to stop at 33, I'll still be up a pretty good amount from 29.44 cost basis. So we'll keep an eye on it right here. TLRY again, stock in question. This stock is up, of course. I didn't mention this yet, but this stock is up, of course, because the weed sector has been pretty hot lately. SNDL was probably a popular one for those of you guys with really small accounts. A penny stock that went to $4 or $5, pretty sick. And it was also moving in tandem with TLRY. One thing I do like about TLRY is that it's very liquid. The stock's traded $57 million, 57 million shares. It's a $33 stock. So that's a good amount of money being thrown at TLRY, and only an hour into the day, too. This is the volume that we're getting. We can kind of see that on the daily chart. It traded 200 million shares on this big dump day right here. So that's a lot of shares traded, guys, on a stock like this. So again, we're just going to keep an eye on it. 33s. I will say, when the stock is just chopping around like this, it is 7:41 a.m. for me, as I am based on the West Coast. It is quite a chore to stare at this type of price action. Watching a stock pinball between $2 in range is pretty boring. But I guess being in 100,000 shares wakes you up a little bit. That's a nice little wake up call when you got that much money on the line. Again, only on Madaz Money, man. Showing you guys big money trades, big size, real big money, guys. None of that piker stuff that you see from these other day trading YouTube channels that are trading with like 100 shares. None of that. None of that, man. None of that. This is the big leagues. This is the big leagues right here. If you guys want to see me trade this stuff live, join Madaz Money. Made this call live for all the members, and a lot of people in chat banked off of this trade. So you see right there, stock tried to break below 33 again, couldn't do it. So 33 is still holding firm as support. Still a source of buyers there. $33 again. Still holding on to the 20,000 shares. It's a lot more easier to hold on to the position. Again, one, because you have a good average, like me at 29.44, and number two, after you've locked in $452,000 in just a little bit over an hour on the day. So that makes holding on to the position a lot more easier. Again, that 33 level still holding up. So no reason to sell just yet. Yeah, so it's still hanging around. Another 33 test right there. Again, it's just, getting some support in the 33s, and now you see a little bit of a seller there at 34, which I don't like, actually. And the wall there at 34, you saw that. So a little bit of a downtick of the seller, which I don't want to see. Again, this is at 4x speed, guys. Imagine watching this boring action, if you will, at normal speed. That's 8 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, exactly. But of course, like I said, when you got a lot of money on the line, it starts to wake you up a little bit. Now we're pushing there. You see that 34.5 wall. So at least now we saw that 34 seller move out of the way, which is good. That 34.5 seller now. So now there's basically sellers every 50-cent increment, which is pretty annoying. Now you know it seems like there's probably some sort of algo that wants to hold this down, which is why, again, I reduced my expectation, reduced my size. Initially, when I got in this trade, I was thinking maybe $1 million trade of 40, 45, 47. Now, once I saw what hand the stock decided to show, I'm like, you know what? There's like freaking hidden sellers every 50-cent increment. I'm going to start selling. Again, adjusting the strategy on the fly, the game plan on the fly, and still locking in a very solid gain. The bounce off of this level was high conviction, but the price action was just not the best for that big home run trade. Not to say that $452,000 in an hour or so is not a home run. That's a big, huge win. Again, this is a top 3 trade for me of all time, even though it didn't hit 40, 45, 47. But again, just to show you guys in this video what you need to do, right? You need to be objective, look at the action, and adjust your strategy accordingly. So again, the stock, it broke through that 34 seller. Now you run to that 34.5 seller. And I'm pretty sure that 35 seller is still there, Mr. 35. So yeah, I was like, you know what, screw it. So now I'm only down to 10,000 shares. I sold some more there at 34. Locked in now $498,000, or basically up $500,000 in just 1.5 hours. Holding just 10,000 shares left. Basically now with a stop of 33 on the remaining shares. Even if it were to drop below 33, I'd still be up pretty good on the day. So no need to worry. It's pretty much a matter of how much I'm going to make on these remaining shares. But it's very interesting because you guys don't see me hold on to a position this long. I just had a lot of conviction. I had a great entry. And it did get at least somewhat of a bounce. 28 to 34 is not bad at all. 28 to 35 is not bad at all. 7 points. Sure, it would have been nice to get 12 points, 20 points, but 7 points ain't too shabby. It's enough for me to make $500,000 in 1.5 hours. So now we're back to this 34.5 got taken out, which is good. This is what I wanted to see. But let's just see, did they actually hold this 34.5? Watch Mr. 35 come up. You see Mr. 35 right there. There's a huge fat wall right there. There's going to be an interesting spot probably coming up, I think, where they break it over 35 for a second. They put it back on. Watch this for a second. There he goes. Okay, so 35. Yeah, you see that? So it went over 35 for a second. I'm going to pause it right there, okay? So you see that? You guys see that? This is a very important thing that you need to watch on the level 2. So sometimes what they'll do is they'll pull the offer at 35, that obvious big seller that's trying to liquidate a boatload of shares for 1 second, make a new high there. You see there was a new high, 35.27, and the stock instantly went back down like 60 cents. What happened there was basically they lifted the offers. They probably canceled their order for a second, got a bunch of people to stop out or chase the stock, and then they put the offer back on, and the stock eventually just dropped instantly. So that's not what you want to see right there. You see there, it briefly hit 34.3 on the bid. So that's basically what happened. That was a huge fake out there. So anyone that chased that 35 got instantly dumped right there for a 60 cent plus loss. So typical stop hunt move there, stop hunt tactic there by the market makers. At that point, when I saw that I was like, okay, there's probably a good chance that they're probably not gonna let this thing run. So I sold another 5,000 shares. You see that? As a precautionary reaction to that little stop hunt scammy tactic there. So they lifted the 35 offer again. Watch that again, okay? Watch that again at normal speed. So they lifted that 35 offer. They got people to think, oh, it's going to break 35. It's going to go to 40 now, right? They got some people to chase. You see the volume spike there. 2 million shares. 2 million shares on that offer lift there off of that stop hunt move. We got people to chase it. They got some people to stop out on the short side probably. And there you go, you know. Now they pulled it back. They put the offer back on right away. So that's one thing that you want to look for on the level 2. And this is why I watch the level 2, guys, because the chart's not going to tell you that. The chart's not going to tell you that. The chart's not going to tell you that they tried to stop hunt everyone. You know, you'll see it after the fact on the chart, but when you finally see it on the chart, it's already too late. This is why I watch the level 2, guys. The level 2 will tell you the story before it happens. That's why level 2 tape reading is so important. This is why I do so well, guys. So at this point, guys, I only have 5,000 shares left. You know, up over 500,000. 524,000. Again, it goes over 35 again. I sell some into that 35 push because I just don't trust it. So I went over 35. Let's see if we can actually do it. You see that? Mr. 35, man. Mr. 35 not letting us party. He's not letting us party. Now, this is looking better. This is the first time where I actually look somewhat decent. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe. Just maybe. Just maybe. We need to see. Oh, nope. Right there. Nope. Now, 35 back. Is it going to hold? No. No. Mr. 35 not letting us party. Mr. 35, what are you doing, man? Let us party. Let us party, man. And Mr. 35 is the guy that didn't get invited to the party, so he came over just to ruin it for everyone else. You're not going to get invited to any future parties like that, Mr. 35. But there you go. You see what happened there, guys? So that popped over 35 again. And then they put the offer back on and down it goes. So now I'm only got 2,500 shares left at this point. At this point, you know, I'm about to take a nap, which is why you see me set some alerts. I'm like, you know what? I'm about to sell the remaining position and I'm just going to come back when it breaks out. You know, over 37 basically. But you see right there, I only got 2,500 shares left, locked in most of the position already. Pretty happy with the gains. I'm pretty much accepting the fact that that 35 hidden seller is just not going to move. Great example, again, of adjusting your strategy, assessing the situation. And as you saw on that execution chart that I showed at the beginning of this video, that was the right decision because the stock eventually lost that 33 support area and it went all the way back down to 28 by the end of the day. So, great decision. So yeah, guys, this is looking pretty good in terms of the fact that I executed my plan pretty well. The stock itself is just looking kind of whatever, but I'm very happy with the way I executed this trade. One of my longer holds, you know, 2 hours, but still, despite the seemingly not so interesting price action, it still yielded my top 3 best trade of all time. So that's what happens when you combine conviction with ability to read the action, make any adjustments as needed. Next time I get the same setup, you better believe I'm going to be in, and then there's no hidden seller. I'm going to make $1 million. No doubt about it. Dead cat bounce off a very obvious spot, like a gap fill on a daily chart, is very, very high conviction, especially on a stock that's been beaten down without any sort of a bounce on TLRY from 77 down to 28. Only 1,900 shares left, guys, at this point. Locked in $540,000. Only got a couple bucks left on the trade. All right, that's it, guys. All out of it. So there you have it, guys. The $550,000 locking in $550,000 trade right there, right into my account in just a little bit over 2 hours, showing you guys an example of the dead cat bounce on Tlry, and showing you guys how to adjust the strategy and your expectations on the fly. So there you have it. Top 3 best trade of all time. Again, if you guys like this live trading footage and you guys want to see more live trading footage like this, big money trades with real size, real big money, none of that piker stuff that you see elsewhere, hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Greatly appreciate it. Of course, subscribe as well if you guys haven't done so already, so that way you can see more epic live big money trades right here on the Madaz Money YouTube channel. And again, of course, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I don't know why you guys haven't already, but please go and do that. And lastly, of course, if you guys want to see me trade this stuff live as it unfolds, go to madazmoney.com, sign up. I trade live there every single day. But other than that, guys, have a wonderful weekend. Happy New Year. Happy Lunar New Year to all you guys out there that celebrate Lunar New Year. Have a wonderful 3-day weekend. There's no trading on Monday. Happy Valentine's Day tomorrow. Well, a lot of holidays this weekend, but enjoy your weekend, bottom line. Enjoy your weekend, guys. Madaz, signing out.